Like with any profession, there are pros and cons, but for the most part, I think 80% of the time I'm happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I really love it. So you would encourage somebody to go for teaching?
I would. I
Okay.
would. I get the question, am I going to make enough money?
Yes, yes. Please tell us. Are we
Am
gonna
I
make
gonna
enough
make enough
money?
money? Look, I don't know where, you're not going to be a millionaire. Let's
Okay,
just start with
maybe
that.
give us maybe an average of how much teachers possibly make in a good school.
In a good school.
And guys, disclaimer, this is not every school. Like, this is just
Your-
average in a good school.
Yeah. Your annual can go from 250K
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to like 370.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
decent.
I think
Yeah.
like when you're starting your career, it's really not. It's just that these days everyone wants to go in and 50K,
I get it. They're
So-
selling a social media lifestyle,
Yeah,
and you have to wake up 9 to
will
5.
kill you. Yeah, I think that's that. Like for me, I don't think it's terrible. Also because I'm able to meet my needs and some of my wants, and also I do other things on the side.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so how's your time frame? Because I know, like, if you're an attorney, it's hard for
To
you
think
to
you're gonna
do
do things
other
on the
side
side.
jobs. It's important. Like, it's just already it doesn't sound ethical when you start saying I'm an attorney, but I do ABCD. It's like,
Really? You don't have a side hustle.
Well, okay, I'm in-house right now, right? So I do other stuff because I'm much more flexible, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a practicing attorney. I'm a non-practicing attorney. So I'm in-house. I'm a legal counsel. So I do have time to myself, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at an attorney that is actually practicing, they don't have time or
no time,
capacity.
yeah.
They like out of their house at 6 a.m. in the morning. They back at 10 in the evening or even later than that,
Yeah.
you see. So sometimes it becomes really hard for you to have like side hustles and stuff. So
Yeah.
with your guys' time frames, you guys are able to do other things. Like what time?
Not necessarily.
Like how
Yeah.
does your day start? Like what time does it start? Like as a teacher, what time does it start and what time does it end?
Let me tell you, I went in with this. Probably this was one of my misconceptions. I thought I'm gonna have time. Like, okay, I'll go in, I'll teach probably from 7, and then by 2 o'clock the kids go home, right? And then I'm done.
Yes,
I have the
that's
rest
what
of the
I'm thinking. I'm
I
like,
have the rest
once
of the
kids have
afternoon.
gone,
Yeah.
go home.
I have the rest of the afternoon to myself because also before I started, I was running like an events company and like I enjoyed it.
Hey, you're hustling.
I got hustler, yo,
We are
Nkosi yangu, girl. So fine. And then now where I'm working, you have to be in by 7:30 and you knock off at 4. That doesn't mean that the kids leave school at 4.
Okay.
The kids around 2, 2:30 there, they're done. Then the rest of the day you have to dedicate your time to, marking scripts, putting up tests, setting up, preparing yourself for tomorrow and all that other stuff. So pretty much your whole day is taken.
Okay.
By the time you knock off at 4, what can you still do, right? But I push myself to try and do the other stuff that I can do, borrow my brains here and there. Yeah, but
But you knock off at 4.
knock off at 4.
That's not. But is your school far from home?
No.
No, okay, that's not bad. And then I just want to know, relating to teaching, right, like subjects. So do you have like a class of your own? Because now, if you're expected to be like at school at 7:30, and maybe your lesson is at 12 p.m., what are you doing the other time? Or do you have like, are you a class teacher?
Yes, I am a class teacher. I have a class that's dedicated to me.
you,
I get
okay.
to decorate it how I want. Although there are teachers who teach the sub-subjects
What
that I'm
grade
talking
do you
about.
teach, by the way?
I teach grade 6.
Okay.
There are teachers who come in to teach the sub-subjects, and then I just step out of the class and borrow them my class in a sense. I don't know if that
Okay.
makes sense. They'll go into the classroom, teach for about 30 minutes, and then they're out. But yeah.
Okay, so the other time you're just chilling by
That's
the
my
staff
class,
room or you're marking scripts or
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's great. And then personally I'm very passionate about reading and writing, right? And I feel like there is a problem in South Africa where a lot of people can't read properly. They can't articulate themselves properly. To people at home, what do you think they can do to provide themselves with tools that will help them read better, articulate themselves better? Because whether or not, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong, I saw something on TikTok. Somebody was like, you guys shouldn't lie to each other. When you want to enter corporate, you must articulate yourself a certain way. Do you think that's a thing?
Yeah. Yes, yes. But haven't you like noticed, like sometimes you ever go, that person speaks very well, and I think that has really helped them get to the top. It's not the only thing,
Yeah.
but it does help to know how to speak for yourself, how to articulate yourself, as you say. With the stats that you're saying, actually in South Africa, kids around grade 3, grade 4, they struggle to read for understanding. So they can read it, but they don't understand what it means.
Yes, they can't comprehend.
And for me, I want to attribute it a lot to do with parent engagement.
Okay.
As parents today, we are not engaged in our children's learning anymore. When I was growing up, I remember I was coming from a village when I started living with my mother, and I didn't know how to speak English, never mind reading. Okay. So whenever my mom would get called in and get told, hey, your child is struggling to read, hey, your child is struggling to read, eventually she had to take it upon herself to be like, hey, you need to learn how to read.
Sure.
Right? So every day she'd come back from work, she'd say, you read 2 pages. When you come back from school, you read the 2 pages by yourself. When I come back from work, you read for me.
Yes.
And then I'll correct you where you're wrong until you finish the entire book.
Sure.
That's how I learned how to read. So these days, parents literally give the teachers all the work. Like, I'm bringing my child to the school, make sure they come back home knowing how to read, knowing how to do everything. And in as much as teachers, we try our best, remember, I'm dedicating my time to 20, 25 students in the class.
Sure.
It's not just exclusively your child. So I think parent engagement is necessary there, but also as teachers, I know that we can do better as well. Because if you look at the difference between how we do it in private schools and how it's done in government school, there's a huge difference.
Yes, because also I was about to speak about the gap, because I have noticed that there is a gap, and not to even undermine anyone or anything. Sometimes I do feel like certain schools, you can tell from how the teacher is communicating with parents, man, there's something off. Then you start wondering that when they're teaching children, are they teaching correctly? Because obviously, if you can't communicate well with me, there might also be a breakdown with the communication that you have with children in the class, right? And then it brings me to wanting to know if there is a gap, and you let me know according to your experience, right? How is the gap between moving from graduating with your teaching degree into the workplace? Is there enough training during teaching? You know, do you feel like teachers are equipped by the time they actually start working? Because from the reading and writing, personally, I think something needs to be done. I think maybe practicals must start as early as possible, and they must be often. Because I think sometimes by the time people go into teaching, they don't have enough knowledge, or they don't even know how to carry themselves or communicate with children or teach appropriately.
Yeah. You know what? I think the schools do try. Well, with my school, I'll speak for my school, even though I'm not going to mention. We get professional training every single week. It'll be focused on certain things. Maybe one time it'll be how to communicate with parents, how to plan better for your lessons, how to differentiate your lessons for different learning abilities, because not everyone is a top scholar, you know. We get those trainings, but I do know for a fact that there's a gap that with other schools, especially, and I'll always sort of like talk about government, because majority of our kids do come from the government schools, where you find that maybe that's not being done frequently. And then also just management within the school.
Okay.
With us, we have assistant principals, and then we have principals. So within the government sector, it would be your deputies, the principals, and also, you know, government at large. How are they involved in the runnings of the school? With us, are the principals coming in checking, are you actually on task? We get checked all the time. You're on your toes when you're in the classroom. When they come in to observe, they better not find you on your cell phone, checking your Instagram.
So you're fully supervised.
So I think those things keep us on our toes, and they keep us doing what we're supposed to be doing at work. But if you don't have those measures, sometimes people can, you know, find themselves doing other things, not necessarily paying as much attention to the kids. So yeah, professional development is necessary. But also I think leadership and management within that school matters. How are you managing your teachers? Because in as much as you can come in as a young graduate, motivated, I'm going to be a great teacher, you'll do it the first term, and then maybe you're being met with kids who are challenging, who speak back, and all that, and then you're like, it starts to demotivate you slowly but surely, and then before you know it, it's affecting your work.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, that was a great one. Thank you so much for all the insights. It's been beautiful having a conversation with you. I hope people at home actually learned something, and I do highly encourage that schools, people that own schools and etc., have in place development training so that we have good teachers, because good teachers means good students, and good students means basically good individuals, you know. So thank you so much for coming here. And if you were to title this season of your life, what would you title it? And in wrapping up, please do give a word of encouragement to people at home.
thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
This season of my life is putting yourself out there.
Love it.
Yeah. So don't think you're underqualified. Yeah, I think that's that. And then with encouragement, I would say to anyone that's watching, you can do it. And also don't be rigid. Don't look at life as this is the only way I can do things.
Okay.
Look at other avenues. Try different things. Start at the very bottom, even with your qualification. Okay. You speak about what's career or qualification ego. What do you call it?
Yes, career ego.
Please, career ego.
The idea that your qualifications is more important than any other job.
Honey, don't do that.
Okay.
Put it to the side. I always go back to the idea that not every job will give you the great perks, the great experience, and all that. Sometimes you're either going to choose the salary over the experience, or you're going to have to choose the experience over the salary. So be very mindful, put yourself out there, and make the best decision for you.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so much to everybody at home. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And happy Employment Wednesdays. Always remember, you are not alone. You are gracefully anchored. All the best. Thank you.